And welcome everyone to a Katz chat here for the Missouri Valley Conference with Indiana State head coach Josh Schertz. Josh, you guys have clinched at least a share of the regular season title, which would be the third time in Indiana State history that the Sycamores have a piece of a conference title. 2000 and prior to that, 1979, Larry Bird. You have one game left. Drake has one game left, both at home. If you both win out, you're going to win it outright. If you lose in some scenario, you still got a piece. So put that in perspective for me first. Here in year 3, you've climbed up each year in the standings to get at least a piece of the Valley Championship.
Well, the first year we set the bar very low, so it's not hard to climb above second to last. So we did that. But no, it's been incremental progress. I think obviously a lot of good fortune came in, and I think the transition was hard. But what happened to us at the end of year 1 was we had 3 guys, our 3 leading scorers, all graduated, but they all had a COVID year to play, and they all could have transferred, and they all came back. Cooper Neese, Cam Henry, Calix Stevens returned. We were able to add some really good pieces in that first really full recruiting class from Kavasi McCauley and Robbie Avila, Jason Kent, etc. And that allowed us to take a big step forward last year, win 23 games. And, without going into too much detail, we left a lot on the table. I think we had 9 of our losses were by 4 points or less. We had 4 losses by 1 point. And we felt like while we won 23 games, which tied the 14 team for the most since 79, and went to the postseason, won our first postseason games, and so won, we left a lot on the table. And this group, with the return of Robbie Avila, with Julian Larry, with Jason Kent, Xavier Bledson, Mason Miller, I think, that continuity has given us a chance to have the kind of growth and trajectory we need. And, we come into Sunday with a chance to win outright. And as much as I like Darren, and I really do, he's an unbelievable guy and an even better coach. And as deep a respect as I have for Drake and that program, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody who has more respect for those guys than I do. We don't want to share it with them. We want to win it outright. And, we control our own destiny to do that. But we got a really good Murray State team in front of us that we got to go through to make it happen.
So Robbie Avila has 35 in this tie clinching win. Obviously the specs, the whole thing, if you saw him in the airport, you'd say, who's this guy? But yet he is a baller. Put in perspective what he's meant to this team and his personal growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable. Robbie's one of those guys, like you said, he's the poster child for, everybody, physical quickness is a huge piece of basketball, but you can compensate with mental quickness. And his mental quickness, his ability to see, analyze, react to what's going on inside of the game is second to none. I mean, he sees it in real time. He understands how the defense is playing him, understands, what the solutions are. He's not only, with himself, he does a great job with the other guys. He's a great leader in terms of, holding guys accountable, but doing a way that, lifts guys up versus, we always talk about encourage versus discourage. He holds guys accountable. When we recruited him, I've said this many times, we felt like he was a player you could build an offense around, but he was also the type of person you could build a program around. And those are 2 different things. And, he's been exactly that, which is a pretty, I thought coming here, he could change a trajectory of Indiana State basketball. There was many a night going through that first year, we're getting our butts kicked. That was my solace, is that, he's coming. We feel like we got a good group coming in, but that, the way we play at that position, to have somebody that smart, that skilled, and a guy that is that good a leader, that we had a chance to change the way Indiana State basketball was viewed.
If I've got my stats correct, this is your 10th conference championship in your 16 years as a head coach. I don't care what level, I don't care what league. That's a pretty good stat. What do you attribute your ability your staff's ability to, at the end of the season, be at the top of a standing?
Well, I think Bill Self, I have a lot to aspire to. He's like what, like 20 out of 24 or something crazy. So all relative. But I think I think this. I think there's we've always tried to have a culture where you can win. I think there's winning cultures, and I think there's cultures where you can win. And I think when you have a winning culture, you're kind of a weather vane for your results, right? Like, you win and everybody's up, and you come to practice and guys are high-fiving, there's music and film, and everybody's kind of in a good vibe. And if you lose, man, you're back in the morning at 5 a.m. and everybody's down and there's no music, and you kind of just ride the roller coaster, with it. I think when you have a culture where you can win, I think what you do is you have processes, principles, standards, values inside the organization that kind of moor you to what's really important, allows you to navigate the storms that are inevitable in every season. And when things are going great, and we got in the national poll, and we had won 9 in a row. I don't know that we lost because of that, but when we lost those 2, it went from we're the greatest thing ever, and things are rolling, to 2 losses in a row, the sky is falling. And our guys, I never felt that inside there. It's about having a culture where you can win, and you just lean into those principles, those values. How are we preparing? Are we playing to a standard every single game? What is that standard? That doesn't change. How we evaluate ourselves. You can't, you don't control outcomes. So you got to control the things you can. And I think you control your preparation, you control your adherence to those things, you control your adherence to the standard you're trying to play to every single night. And we believe if we hit our standard, that we're going to like the outcomes most of the time. And that puts you in position to play for championships. And we've been fortunate enough to do that here a number of times over the 16 years. And of course, the most important aspect of any team winning a championship is having great players, because you can have all that stuff, and if you don't have great talent, you're not going to be competing for anything. And players win games, and I learned that a long time ago. There's never been a Hall of Fame coach that didn't coach multiple Hall of Fame players. There has been many Hall of Fame players who never played for a Hall of Fame coach. So you never have to worry about which one is more important in the equation.
Hey, last thing, anyone that watches you play knows that Indiana State can win games in March Madness, but you got to get there. And there's no guarantees in the Valley, even if you win it outright. With that being said, let's assume you're going to be the top seed, because you will be. But how much will that help this sense of urgency, this Game 7 mentality that your team's going to have to play with when you get to St. Louis?
Well, I think I think that's huge. We didn't celebrate last night because we want to try to take care of business Sunday. We clinched a share, which is a big deal. I think this, no matter what happens from here on out, it's been a great season, right? Like, we could lose at home to Murray State, lose in the first round of the St. Louis, and lose in the first round of the NIT. And it's been a great season, 25 wins, the Missouri Valley Championship. You can't have a special season unless you perform in the postseason. And what I mean by that is, like, did Purdue have a great year last year? Yeah, of course. Everybody would say that. Was it a special season? Maybe not, because they got upset in the first round, right? And so I think that's the way it works for every team. Special seasons are based on how you perform in the postseason. The part that everybody remembers about any story is how it ends. And so this group, to go through this week, to prepare well, try to take care of business Sunday, we're going to go into St. Louis and certainly, we didn't do this, when in the regular season championship, we're not going to be scoreboard watching. We're going to go into St. Louis and try to win it. Now, as you said, that's brutally difficult in this league from Friday. And if you get past it, Saturday to Sunday, you're going to be playing elite teams. But we're going to go in there thinking that we have to win it to be in the NCAA tournament. And if we don't, then, hopefully I think we're deserving of an at-large. But why put it in the committee's hands? Try to take it in your own hands, control what you can, and put your best foot forward and try to win it. And then there is no debate, or you're not sitting there on pins and needles for the next week.
All right. Well, congratulations so far. Unbelievable year. And let's just see how special it becomes over the next couple of weeks. Appreciate your time, Josh.